Bat Squatch, a cryptid that allegedly roams the forest near Mount St. Helens in Washington, is a creature as elusive as it is terrifying. Described as a cross between a giant bat and a primate, Bat Squatch is part of a long tradition of cryptids in the Pacific Northwest. Its emergence following the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens has captivated enthusiasts of the paranormal and cryptozoology, and its lore continues to grow with each reported sighting. The origins of the Bat Squatch legend are deeply entwined with the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens in Washington state, which led to significant environmental disruption. On May 18, 1980, the mountain erupted in one of the most significant volcanic events in U.S. history. Following a 2-month period of seismic activity and gas emissions, the eruption began with a massive landslide on the mountain's north face. This was followed by a powerful lateral blast and a towering eruption column that reached 15 miles into the atmosphere. The blast flattened everything within a 230 square mile area, killing 57 people and resulting in extensive ashfall across the Pacific Northwest, impacting both the environment and local communities for years. Many locals believed this eruption disturbed long-hidden creatures within the dense, uncharted wilderness surrounding the mountain, which in turn led to sightings of unusual beings, including what would later be known as Bat Squatch. However, the creature's legend really took hold after a particularly notable sighting in 1994, setting the foundation for modern folklore around it. In April 1994, a man named Brian Canfield had a shocking encounter that would become the first major report of Bat Squatch. Canfield was driving his truck at night near Mount Rainier, not far from Mount St. Helens, when his vehicle abruptly stopped without explanation. According to his account, a massive creature appeared in the road in front of him, leaving him frozen with fear. Canfield described the creature as around 9 feet tall, muscular with bluish fur, glowing yellow eyes, and bat-like wings. It looked almost like a cross between a bat and a primate, a terrifying sight against the dark forest. After a few tense moments, the creature reportedly spread its wings and took off into the sky, allowing Canfield to regain control of his truck and drive away. This encounter captured public attention as the details were striking and specific. Canfield's story was even covered in local media, where Bat Squatch was described as a possible unknown species or supernatural entity. This report ignited interest in cryptozoological circles, and Bat Squatch quickly became a legend within Washington's rich tradition of unusual creature sightings. Since this initial sighting, Bat Squatch has remained a source of fascination, with enthusiasts wondering if other unreported creatures might lurk within the wilderness surrounding Mount St. Helens. Bat Squatch's physical description is both detailed and terrifying, combining traits of multiple creatures into a single monstrous form. Reports describe it as towering between 8 to 9 feet tall, with a build reminiscent of a large primate, giving it a muscular, almost human-like structure. It's typically covered in thick bluish or purplish fur, a striking color not commonly seen in the animal kingdom. This fur supposedly enhances its otherworldly appearance, making it stand out even more against the dark forest it's said to inhabit. Perhaps the most notable feature is its massive bat-like wings, often estimated to span around 50 feet when fully extended. This wingspan would make Bat Squatch an enormous creature capable of flight, although some accounts describe it as grounded during sightings. Witnesses claim the wings are membrane-like, similar to that of a bat's, adding to the creature's frightening impression and lending it the bat part of its name. The creature's glowing eyes are another haunting feature, usually described as yellow or red, which seems to heighten the feeling of dread among those who encounter it. Its hands and feet are often described as clawed, giving Bat Squatch an additional predator-like quality. These detailed accounts combine to create an image of a powerful, dangerous entity that straddles the line between the natural and the supernatural, leaving witnesses both fascinated and deeply unsettled. In the years following the 1994 sighting by Brian Canfield, several additional Bat Squatch encounters have been reported, each adding new layers to the creature's lore. In 2009, a group of hikers near Mount Shasta in California claimed to see a similar creature in the distance, leading some to speculate that Bat Squatch's range might extend beyond Washington state. They described a tall, bat-like figure gliding silently above the treetops, disappearing into the mountainous terrain. The sighting stirred interest, as Mount Shasta is also known for unusual sightings, particularly of unidentified flying objects and other cryptids, making Bat Squatch's appearance there even more intriguing. In another instance, a pilot flying over Washington state reportedly saw a massive winged creature mid-flight. Although details were sparse, the account matched descriptions of Bat Squatch, further fueling interest in the possibility of a cryptid capable of flight in the Pacific Northwest. Reports of Bat Squatch-like creatures have also come from remote, wooded areas throughout the region, although sightings are rare and often dismissed as misidentifications of large birds, such as eagles or herons. However, the consistency in description, from the bat-like wings to its large size and eerie presence, suggests a shared experience among witnesses that has helped Bat Squatch remain a distinct figure in cryptozoology. Bat Squatch shares striking similarities with other legendary flying cryptids, most notably the Mothman of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and the Ahul from Indonesia. Mothman, like Bat Squatch, is often described as a large, winged creature with glowing red eyes, spotted near disaster sites or remote areas. Some accounts link Mothman sightings with impending catastrophes, casting it as a harbinger of doom, whereas Bat Squatch sightings, though less common, have no direct association with tragedy. Both cryptids, however, evoke feelings of fear and foreboding due to their eerie winged forms and their mysterious appearances. In Indonesia, the Ahul, a bat-like cryptid said to inhabit the rainforests of Java, also shares traits with Bat Squatch. Described as a giant winged creature with a primate-like face and body, the Ahul's massive wingspan and uncanny cries resemble descriptions of Bat Squatch's terrifying presence. While the Ahul is thought to be a jungle-dwelling creature, unlike the mountain-based Bat Squatch, both cryptids feature large wings and bat-like qualities, sparking curiosity about whether they might share an evolutionary link. Scientists and skeptics have proposed a range of theories to explain the alleged sightings of Bat Squatch, with most focusing on misidentification of known animals or natural phenomena. A popular theory is that witnesses could be seeing large birds of prey, such as bald eagles or even California condors, which are native to the Pacific Northwest and have large wingspans that could be mistaken for a winged cryptid from a distance. Particularly when seen against a darkening sky or obscured trees, these birds could give the impression of a larger bat-like creature with eerie features, especially if they're silhouetted and their details are hard to discern. Others suggest that Bat Squatch sightings may be due to optical illusions or environmental factors such as shadows cast by trees, mountain fog, or unusual weather conditions that can distort the shapes and sizes of objects, creating strange impressions. Other theories propose that Bat Squatch may be a form of gigantism among bat species, though this lacks biological evidence. Additionally, some speculate that it could be a relic species, an animal from an ancient lineage that has somehow survived unnoticed. This theory connects Bat Squatch to prehistoric creatures and other cryptids thought to be living fossils. Finally, psychological explanations such as pareidolia, the tendency to see patterns or shapes like faces in random objects, and confirmation bias, where people perceive evidence that confirms their beliefs, also play a role. These explanations suggest that individuals predisposed to cryptid lore may interpret ambiguous stimuli as Bat Squatch. Each theory sheds light on the varied ways that natural, psychological, and environmental factors can create cryptid legends like Bat Squatch, reflecting the human tendency to search for meaning in mysterious encounters. For those who lean towards paranormal explanations, Bat Squatch may not be a biological creature at all, but rather a supernatural or interdimensional being. Some cryptid enthusiasts believe Bat Squatch could be a spirit of the forest, or an ancient entity tied to the land, appearing only under certain conditions or during environmental disturbances, like the eruption of Mount St. Helens. Others suggest that Bat Squatch may be an interdimensional entity, appearing briefly as it crosses into our reality. This theory aligns with beliefs about Mothman and other cryptids that seem to vanish or materialize unpredictably. Some paranormal theories draw on Native American spiritual beliefs, suggesting Bat Squatch might be a guardian spirit or nature entity angered by disruptions to its environment. This perspective sees the creature as protective rather than malevolent, a spiritual figure emerging to remind people of their connection to nature. These spiritual explanations highlight how Bat Squatch could be both a symbolic figure and a cryptid, embodying people's fears, mysteries, and reverence for the natural world, adding a deeper, more mystical dimension to its lore. Whether a misunderstood animal, a supernatural being, or simply a tall tale, Bat Squatch continues to capture the imagination of those fascinated by the unknown. Its presence in regional folklore, its comparisons to other flying cryptids, and its appearances in pop culture have cemented it as an enduring figure in the world of cryptozoology. As long as there are forests to explore and mysteries to unravel, the legend of the Bat Squatch will likely live on, reminding us that some corners of the world may still hold secrets waiting to be discovered.